Look, the internet told me to do it. Is my Camp NaNoWriMo story like seeping into my brain? I don't feel like writing, but like, no, I should be writing. Even though I did not want this to happen, that turned out great. That turned out great. Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today is the first day of a new writing experiment. The challenge this time was inspired by whenever Brooke and I do those writing and drinking vlogs, we use writing prompts during them, and I always think every single time how great it would be to incorporate writing prompts into my like typical writing routine when I'm not drunk. And so now I'm finally going to do it. So the plan is to do a writing prompt each day for an entire week. And kind of the things I guess I'm looking to find out are if I react better to certain writing prompts, if there's some kind of magic in setting a time limit for myself, which I think I might try, and like any other things. Yeah. I don't have any of the prompts picked out, and I'm going to try and pick them out quickly. Like, I don't want this to be a huge long exercise, so I think what I'm gonna do is cap myself at a minute, and then I just gotta pick something. So we're gonna look online right now and see what kind of writing prompts we can find. So the first thing that comes up when I search for writing prompts is actually, is actually the subreddit about writing prompts, which I do see sometimes when I'm on Reddit. So I think that is the perfect one to experiment with first. Woohoo, okay. I'm gonna peruse the top ones for this week and see if any speak to me. So top past week, and you are secretly the richest person in the world. Okay, no. You lose a dare in an airport. Woo, okay. I like that one. That one's an option. Again, to outpace the rendering speed of the universe. Oh my gosh, no, that's too much. Just like when picking out books, anything that sounds like too science fiction-y to me, I'm like, my brain stops working because I'm just like, oh no, I need more time to compute this than my reading speed allows. I'm literally still looking up writing prompts. This one right here reminds me a lot about The Good Place. Which is an amazing show, and if you're not watching it, you should be. Okay, so I now have two options that I really like selected. My first option, you lose a dare at an airport and are forced to ask an employee for a ticket to the farthest destination. To your surprise, they quietly nod and give you a single ticket with letters you don't recognize. That was the one that I actually paused at the first time and was like, so, okay, or the second one that I also like. When you experience things, you remember them for 5 minutes, forget them for 15, and after that, remember them permanently. Now you're not quite sure why you've been sprinting through the woods in the middle of the night for the last 5 minutes. I like that one too. Both of these I feel like immediately set up a specific scene, like right then and there, which I think is fun. So I think I'm gonna flip a coin. Do I have a coin near me? I don't have a coin. This was not the way to do this. Don't judge my purse. Where's my coin? And, aha, a dime. All right, I have my dime. Now, I know that some people, and probably the people that are posting to their writing prompts subreddit, actually take the time to not do what I'm about to do, which is just speed through it, kind of in the way when Brooke and I do our writing and drinking word prompts. I just set a time limit on myself, and in that 20 minutes I have to write the story, and then when I finish, that's it. So I'm gonna do the same thing here because that's really all the experience I have with writing prompts, and I figure that's as good as any way to start this week out. So time to flip my coin for which one I'm gonna do. This is harder to do while holding a camera than I thought. Okay, coin. Where'd it go? Oh, I didn't decide which is which. Okay, heads is first. So that means I will do, oh look, the one I was initially excited for first. All right. First, I'm gonna make a new folder though, and that way I can share it with y'all if that's something I wanna do. If I'm not thoroughly embarrassed by what I come up with. Ta-da! There it is. All right, I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes. I'm not gonna set a word count goal like I usually do, or a word count restriction, more like, but I'm just gonna write for 20 minutes and see what happens and start. Oh man, so I'm 11 minutes in, or I should say I have about 11 minutes left. And I have 251 words right now. I know the direction I want to take this story in actually, and I think I might be able to do it in the amount of time. I should probably stop talking to the camera. This happens every time. And see if I can't actually do it. So, okay. Fingers crossed. Okay, I'm actually gonna finish this off just really quickly and see. Yeah, I just have like 2 more sentences. Again, the way I write sometimes I'm like stringing stuff together, so I've actually finished the piece and what I need to add is like right around here. All right, done. Let's see, and the total thing ended up being 525 words. This is also teaching me that I probably need to redo my fingernail polish. Yikes. So I went horror with this one, just straight up horror. And the place I leave it at, I think, is actually pretty terrifying and kind of perfect. I will say that there's one part, let me see if I can find it, because I'm not gonna edit this. I might do that at the very end, like the very last day. Maybe I'll spend some time editing them when I choose my favorite one. Oh, that's a great idea. That's what I'll do. So I won't edit this one now, much like I don't edit them when I'm doing the drinking and writing vlogs. But there was a part, I was trying to describe how this person is being led out by Jane and John, and they're walking at exactly the same speed on exactly the same leg. I still don't even know how to say it now. Like, it should make sense. Like, they're both on their right leg and then their left leg at the exact same time. But the sentence I got was, they walked in steady stride in time, both leading with the same leg. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't think so. But in my head, I knew what I meant. So I think ultimately today's lesson is that, besides the nail polish, I will fix this for tomorrow. I am feeling inspired enough that I think this ended up being kind of the perfect segue into a different kind of project for the day. I had been working on one project and I just didn't have the momentum going to switch to the next one I needed to do today. But something about just taking 20 minutes to like fuel some kind of creativity that's like not anything that I may ever come back around to is super helpful. And now I want to do my other writing. So yeah, that's exactly what I feel like when I'm doing the writing and drinking vlogs too. So okay, we'll see if I find it just as fun next time when I may not have as good of a prompt. That's really gonna be my question because yeah. So anyways, day 1, I'm calling this a success, and day 1 a horror genre. That's kind of fun too. I don't often write straight up horror, but I think that's what that would have turned into. Psychological horror of sorts. It actually reminded me of like a, oh shoot, what's that show called? They're bringing it back with Jordan Peele. The Tower of Terror ride is based off of it. I cannot come up with, what is this freaking show called? Oh, The Twilight Zone. I literally was Googling it in order to come up with it. Okay. It reminded me of an episode of The Twilight Zone, which is probably like somewhere deep within my mind. That's where I took the inspiration from at the time. Like when the mannequins start to come alive, that's what in my head this was about to become. All right, day 1 in the books, yay!
Socks. Oh, that's not problem. Everything's alright.
All right, nails fixed. Coffee here. I'm finally ready to work on day 2's prompt. So first up, I have to figure out what I want the prompt to be. I think I might use a different website this time and just see what comes up. All right, you first. Go ahead. So bright. My dog wanted to go out as immediately as I started this video, so I'm still looking up writing prompts. Should I try one for kids? What do writing prompts for kids look like? So a lot of these are like, imagine what would happen if you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Write about a time you were happy. Imagine that dogs take over the world. What do they make the humans do? Oh, hold up. I can get behind that one. I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes because I don't think this one's gonna be especially long. Yeah. You like my story? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Once again, I already know my ending. I just don't know how I'm gonna get from where I'm at to the ending. And done. Duke? Hey, Duke. You wanna come inside? Yes, sir. Come here, baby. Yes, sir. What the heck? Okay. Well, I thought that was so fun. Really, all I did was that in my head, if dogs took over the world, literally nothing would change. At least the way we treat Duke. He really just gets everything he wants. So, but I did write about it more from the dog's perspective, you know, saying like what she wants, how she's clearly taking over the living room, and how when she wants to go outside, the human brings her outside, like all this stuff. I think it's cute. It's only about like half a page long. Let's see how many words it is. 283 words. I will say though, just like last time, it's getting me in a writing mood, which unlike last time, I'd been writing another story already and had actually done a fair amount of work on it and really just needed something to spice it up. Today, I haven't done any work. I just haven't been feeling great. I've been kind of having one of those, I was taking a mental health day is basically what was happening, but I'm feeling a lot more rejuvenated, at least on the writing side of it. So I think I am going to take it easy, take it slow, but I will have my Scrivener actually open and working on stuff, which is more than I had before. So all in all, for 283 words or whatever it was, and 10 minutes of my time, that turned out great. That turned out great. So, all right, looking forward to day 3. So I am doing a writing experiment where I do one writing prompt a day for like a week. I want you to give me my writing prompt for tonight.
It was a clear sky.
That's it. All right. Perfect. Thanks, Daddy. $186. Well, I want you to give me a writing prompt. It can be anything.
We were sitting there having a picnic when the donkey walked by.
Okay, got it. We were sitting there having a picnic when the donkey walked by.
I don't know much about it, but I think
You don't think she does?
Not too far.
It's I forgot what it's called.
All right, so I don't even know what day it is of the challenge anymore because as it turns out, I've actually not been great about keeping to a schedule. Sometimes I'll do these prompts really late at night because part of what happens, I think, is that when I'm writing something, when I'm writing a story, when I'm in the groove for it, and then when I switch to my other stories that I'm working on and I'm in the groove for them, I don't really want to take the time to do a writing prompt for something that I don't have as immediate an interest in. But I have found that obviously the writing prompts have been great when I'm in between something or I'm just like can't get myself in the mood to write or whatever else. So it's a weird kind of thing, this experiment, because it's been great some days and then obviously several of the days in a row it hasn't been as great because I'm like, oh, I gotta do a writing prompt now. So I guess that's kind of like a cool lesson to know, is just that maybe writing prompts are something that I turn to specifically when I don't feel like writing, but like, no, I should be writing kind of thing. We'll see. I'm still waiting for one of these writing prompts to like blow my mind or to inspire a huge giant story. But actually what I've been thinking of doing is doing like a character interview of sorts, where in my Camp NaNoWriMo story, I have multiple characters that I'm trying to like get to know better basically because I'm semi-pantsing this novel for the first time in a while. So maybe it would be good to do like a couple short stories from the character's point of view so I get to know them better, and maybe that can build into some kind of backstory. Taking 15 minutes to just kind of ponder that, write what comes to me, like that could be a good way of making this feel more worthwhile on the days that I still want to be in that world and I don't want to take the time to like come up with some kind of random writing prompt. So things to consider. Oh look, that being said, I am about to go live and do some live writing sprints and kind of like Camp NaNoWriMo prep with one of my favorites, Becca C. Smith. If I click into this now, what's it gonna be? Oh, look, it's us. Soonish. Oh my god, there's already people there. Ah! So I think what I'm actually going to do for today, because I didn't do a writing sprint yesterday, I think I'm gonna be doing them while I do the word sprints live with Becca. Maybe I can get Becca to give me one based off of like her tarot cards or something. Yeah, maybe I should grab my tarot cards and I'll see if anyone doesn't know what they're going to write yet. We can do something based off of that. Yeah, all right, I'm ready.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pull. Oh, look!
Ooh, the sun! Ooh, that's perfect, because that's a lot. Maybe I'll use that. Oh, I love the sun.
Yeah! Okay, so if anyone else wants to join Becca and I, and start.
All right, so it's a little bit later in the night now, and I'm ready to do the prompt that I should have been doing today. The only prompt I should have been doing today. I really liked the process of using my oracle cards to like kind of come up with a prompt that's not a prompt. So rather than coming up with a scenario, I just used the card as inspiration, and I thought that was really cool. But this time, instead of last time, I used more of the words rather than just the imagery of the card. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull a card. So I'm gonna mix these guys up and then ooh, the bouquet. So I'm gonna focus exclusively on just this picture and what it is kind of speaking to me. I don't want to say anything before I've written the story, but I think I have an idea for what I want to do already. And I just want to say that what is up with me and death lately? There's so many more stories revolving around death. Is that just where my head is at? Is my Camp NaNoWriMo story like seeping into my brain? I don't know. Anyways, I'll check back, but it's time to write. I have my inspiration in front of me. And now my plan this time is just to set this camera on a time lapse, and as soon as the time lapse is done, or as soon as I notice the time lapse is done, is when I will stop with what I'm writing. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this for like 7 minutes and we'll just see what I can come up with in 7 minutes. Yikes. Welp. Tools, word count. All right, in that time, I got 402 words. I think using the tarot cards like this just reinforce all the different ways prompts can go. It doesn't have to be a quote of dialogue or like a specific scene picked out or like a scenario. It can just be a picture or a painting or a feeling that you want to explore and come up with a story from that. This one did end up being quite morbid, but maybe in like a, I was gonna say happy. I don't know that this was gonna be happy, but I actually think it's pretty complete. I say that now, not having read all of it over again, but maybe that'll be an activity for me to do tomorrow when I finish off this project. I'll read all of these, I might pick my favorite and I might share it. Maybe. We'll see. But for now, I am quite tired and I'm ready for bed. Good night. All right, it's day 7. I just got out of the shower. Excuse the crazy hair. It is the final day of my writing prompt experiment. You know what I've really realized from making this video is that it takes me longer to pick out the writing prompts, even though I did not want this to happen, than I ever actually spend writing from the prompt. So that's not ideal. And I just don't know if that's something that, like, maybe if I could find a generator, should I do that instead? Should I do a writing generator? Is there a writing prompt generator? Let's find out. Okay, time to Google. Writing prompt generator? Okay, UK, I see you. Random first line generator. You know what? I'm gonna do this one. It is the same company. Generate a first line. Oh, interesting. She was a stranger in a very strange land. Okay. Look, the internet told me to do it. Oh my gosh. Okay, but day 7, she was a stranger in a very strange land. Interessante. Let's do it. Tools, word count, 246 words. I'm gonna be very excited to go over all of these stories and just see what I think after the fact, and I'll pick my favorite one and then I will spruce it up a bit. I will say just right now, I think this one is a pretty solid contender. I like where I went with it and I do feel like it's in 250 words, it's a complete thing. Is it a story? Is it anything more than what I think I'm looking for from a writing prompt? I think it's exactly what I'm looking for in a writing prompt. But we will see. We will see. I honestly, that's what's so strange is that of the 250 words, I remember some of the prompts that I wrote, but honestly, I don't remember all of them. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or indicative of the fact that 250 words when I'm writing, you know, 2 separate novels, and my brain's really on those novels in some way still. Like 250 words is kind of nothing. Especially when it took me, you know, maybe 20 minutes to do this last one. I didn't time it. This is one of the, I think 1 or 2 that I didn't time. I just kind of let it happen on its own. So I also looked up this thing called a sea dragon, which I didn't know was a thing. How interesting does that look? Anyways, now I know that something's called a common sea dragon. Look at it. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. Okay, anyways, much like one of the first days, I think this is actually getting me in the writing mood. What? This is actually getting me in the writing mood. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and shift over to my story, and then later tonight I will come back at you with like a summary of sorts. All right, now it is time to reread everything from day 1 all the way to day 7. So I think I'd say that the first story is actually the longest one and ends on a cliffhanger, and like I said before, it is horror. So now it's time for day 2. Oh, day 2 was the dog one. Oh my gosh, okay. Again, this one's adorable. And that's it. I think day 3 might actually be the shortest day. Maybe not in terms of actual word count, because that might be day 4, but in terms of like just the story. It was a clear sky, which should have been the first warning. The wind had stopped too, which should have been the second. But somehow everyone in the small idyllic town of Pillsbury was shocked to find out much later that on this day they welcomed a third witch into their midst. Oh wow, and this one really seems to like leave off on a cliffhanger with just this one is like the start of a witch story, kind of explaining the town and how she found it and how she's ready to be idolized by the rest of the witches and warlocks that would soon overrun the town. And then that's like the end of it. Like it just stops. So that's interesting because in the comparison with the other ones, they were kind of short, sweet, and felt very done. Like they didn't need anything else. But this one is like so clearly just the start of something rather than being a thing. It's not a thing yet. And then prompt number 4, I went the all dialogue route, which I always think is so fun. The ending of this one is just ridiculous. Maybe I shouldn't show it. There's bad words in it. That's the one that my mom suggested to me. She really threw me for a loop on the donkey, and then what ended up happening, I guess because I was still thrown, was I just made the characters thrown about the donkey. So rather than what should have started a story, the dialogue back and forth is like a donkey, and then of course not actually a donkey. But even then, this feels like a semi-complete thing, even though I never get around to it. It's just like a funny exchange and then the end. And then day number 5, I actually like the imagery that this one does. It's in the middle of a battlefield and the guy is kind of recognizing that he and his, you know, comrades have won their freedom, but at what cost to them personally. And I like it. I like it. It's okay. This might be one that I can share. I mean, it's not great, but you know, overall, it's okay. I like it. Day 6. Oh, this is the one that was the bouquet when I was just looking at the imagery. Once again, I think I did an okay job of actually wrapping something up into one thing, but I'm realizing now that I wrote both prompt 5 and prompt 6 on the same day when I was doing the live write-in, and I was alternating that with my Project Death story, which might be why both of these in a different kind of way do revolve around death, either witnessing it or witnessing an aftermath of it in both a fictional fantasy-esque world and just like a normal everyday kind of world. I'm wondering if that's it now. Ooh, interesting. On to day 7. Doo-doo. I think this last one actually ended up being in some ways kind of an ode to writing. It reads kind of funky, but that was the goal at the time. Kind of capturing the madness of what your head's going through as you're kind of brainstorming a story. I think maybe that's the one I'll share. Now, finally, I really want to talk about lessons learned through this process, and I think I actually mentioned them throughout this week. So I'm gonna say like a wrap up of sorts is that one, for me, writing prompts feel like a burden unless I'm already stuck. So something that I think I'm gonna do moving forward is I am going to utilize writing prompts more often. I really like that generator one. So I think I'll do that. That way it takes all of the time from having to find one that I like out of the equation. So next time when I'm stuck on a story or I'm in between the shift from one story to the next, I think I will utilize this and use a generator and write a prompt for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just kind of get that out there. It's kind of fun, switches up the mindset a little bit. But ultimately, what I do think the biggest epiphany for me is that I'm going to take the concept of writing prompts and that I'm going to take like 15 minutes as part of my Camp NaNoWriMo prep and kind of do stories from 2 or 3 of my minor characters' perspectives, because my Camp NaNoWriMo story is a story that I'm writing from first person point of view, focusing on the girl who can kill when she shouldn't be able to, when that's only a power that should belong to death. Because it's from first person point of view, I don't tap into the other people's perspectives as much, and because I'm pantsing this, I think it might be a good way to bring in some backstory of sorts just for me to get to know my characters better. So I think this ultimately ended up being a fantastic experiment because it led me to that conclusion. So yeah. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do comment down below and let me know if you like writing prompts, how you use writing prompts. Do you find your own stories kind of bleeding over into what you write during prompts? And also, where do you get your writing prompts from? Like, do you frequent the writing prompt subreddit all the time and just kind of scroll through and see one you like and then you write it? Do you use generators? Do you Google stuff? Like, what do you do? Let me know. And don't forget that Jessica and I will be hosting a live authortube chat on my channel on Thursday, and we will be joined by special guest Becca C. Smith. We will talk about like how to protect yourself as a writer in this internet age. Chatting a little bit about how much you should share online. Obviously, as an oversharer, this will be a great conversation for me to have. Thank you guys again, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye. I can't get it out. Hold on. It looks like I don't have any hair when I do it this way. Okay, I'll pull it down. Yeah. I'm gonna be excited. What is this? Is that the wind? Day 2. Oh.